Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving Schools.
Hello and welcome to Over in the Town. Here's what we're going to talk about tonight. It was inevitable, wasn't it? A team with no goals in 7 games, a new manager, no wins, and the hat has come along. It was only going in one way, wasn't it? We're going to talk about that game, our visit to Deepdale in more detail. I shouldn't have wrote that, should I? The transfer window is still open. It's sort of on its way to closing, and everything's coming out in the wash today. Loads of interest in a couple of Luton players. We're going to talk about that in more detail as well. We'll have your 3 road reviews and much, much more. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see there's only 2 of us tonight. There's me, Dave, obviously, not Dan, and Steve. Steve, thanks for coming up, mate.
That's okay. It would have been a really poor podcast if it was just you.
Thanks very much. Talking about poor things, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the weekend, I just want to talk about the horrendous journey down in the rain, because that was awful.
Yeah.
But I was really looking forward to the butter pie that I was recommended on the preview pod.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a meh.
Yeah, well, we both ordered one. Thankfully, the person serving got one wrong, and I ended up with a steak one, which was...
Probably, yeah,
an awful lot better. But yeah, yours did look fairly ropey, I have to say.
Well, it was not tasteful at all.
No.
It was.
Who'd have thought it? Just like a pastry with mash in it.
Potato and onion pie.
Yeah.
Just skip it next time. Sorry, boys, it wasn't as good as you said it was.
Yeah.
I did try it though, so thanks for that. Only cost £5. Anyway,
but it was a shocking journey up, wasn't it?
Shocking journey. We sort of nearly come to it to sort of like rear-ending a car in the rain because that lorry stopped unexpectedly. Yeah,
just no need for it. It just caused absolute chaos and that. But I say around that Northampton area, there was so much road, water on the road.
So much road. It's going to be a long one.
It is. But no, it was a naff journey up.
When we get to Preston, you're all excited because, you know, we've got a decent squad. We know we've got a decent squad. We know we've got some decent players, and the team sheet comes out, and you look at who's playing, and you see McGuinness is starting, and you're thinking, you know what, this is a really good squad.
It's a strong
We
team.
should be doing really well today.
We certainly should have done. You know, it was a really, really strong lineup. I thought McGuinness was great, by the way.
He was, wasn't he? I mean, he stood out, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he had everything you want from, you know, an uncompromising centre half. But then, once he'd won it, he had a little bit of class to, you know, make a pass. He broke out a couple of times and went on a run. So, yeah, it was really, really good debut.
I'm not really superstitious. I used to be. But I'm not anymore. I used to be very pessimistic. I'm not anymore. I've just got a little bit older, and I just think to myself, well, things will sort themselves out in general. But you go there and you're thinking, and in the back of your mind, as I said in the intro, really, they hadn't won for 7 games or haven't scored for 7 games. They have had, this is the 3rd manager of this year.
Yeah.
And it had to happen, didn't it? It had to be the new. Is it that the new manager gives them a little bit more? I don't know. I want to prove that I'm good enough to play for you.
No, I don't know. I mean, you would hope that they're all professionals, and you know it should just be a bit of pride for every week. But it doesn't seem to be that way. But you know, in fairness, I feel that Preston dug in from 3 o'clock. They got a break and they scored the goal, which we'll come on to, and then they just dug in after that. You know, they didn't go gun-ho, they didn't need to, but they, as a home side, they didn't show a lot of ambition. And, you know, from our point of view, it seems that it's another game that's really divided the opinion on what people thought.
It was a very, well, I get that, because there's been a lot, the internet's in meltdown. Some people are saying it's the end for Rob Edwards, it's this and that, and you know, that's a bit silly.
Yeah.
And then other people are saying, just if you express a confident view about going forward, let's look at the starts of previous seasons. When we got promoted, we didn't win for the first 3-4 games, right? So lost, drawn, or like in that way. And people are, so if you say the positive things, you're called a happy clapper. Right?
Yeah,
I don't like that phrase.
Yeah, but isn't that the divisive world that we live in, though, Dave? To be honest with you, that's just the way of it. But
look, you're all entitled to opinions, Steve. We're all entitled to opinions, and this is why we do these things. You know, this is why people make content, because we're entitled to an opinion. But to then belittle other people who say this because you're looking through your rose-tinted specs, a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite side of that, I look at some of the other stuff and I go, come on.
I mean, do you think it's because we've been watching for so long and we've seen so many highs and so many lows for long periods of time? We've seen highs and lows. Maybe it mellows us out a little bit.
I generally think it's because we have one of the best quality squads we've had in a long, long, long time. When you think about how much money we've spent, we've never done that before.
No. We
have a group of players that are meant to be a little bit better than what we used to buy. And I think that's what it is. And I think the expectation of that is not helping in this short time.
The dynamics have changed, and I think Rob Edwards said about it 2 weeks ago, or right at the start of the season. He said the dynamics have changed for the first time in, I don't know,
forever.
A decade maybe, where, we're going to have a lot more of the ball. People are going to be a lot more cautious playing against us, and we're expected to be going and winning games,
but our fans are expecting it, and maybe that's the issue. Like when we won the Conference League, you knew you turned up every week, you knew you were going to win.
Yeah.
You just knew. But this is different. This is different. We have a really good quality squad, and people might argue that fact, but I think we've got a really good quality squad. Still time to get more people in. Excuse me. There's still time to get more people in, and I think we was expecting not to walk the league or anything, but to be a strong opening 3 games. I was expecting we might get 7 points or 6 points, but we've got 1 and we're second bottom, and I think that's the frustration. Isn't it?
I think the points return is disappointing. I think that we would have won at Portsmouth if we hadn't had the sending off.
With hindsight, Steve, the Portsmouth result was amazing given they're in 10 men, but we could have done them with 10 men as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That could easily have been 3. On another day, the Preston game could have been 3. I mean, on the Preston game, I feel that there was so much good in what we done. We broke through the lines a couple of times. I think there was once or twice where Baptiste played a ball inside to Morris, and he just deviated the line of the ball slightly, and someone had broken through, I think Ogbene and stuff. So we were doing some really intricate football, but I thought the final third was really poor. But I think defensively in midfield, I thought we absolutely bossed the game. But the final third, the final ball in, I thought was cut out so many times. I mean, I say we'll get onto it. We had so many corners,
honestly.
and stuff.
Well,
like
we
that.
said on the day, Steve. We said on the day we could. This is going to sound harsh, Preston fans. If you're listening to this, I generally felt that Preston weren't that good, and sadly, we weren't that much better.
Yeah.
In that final third, if we'd had our shooting boots on, we could have easily won that game.
Yeah, if we'd have gone 1-0 up, then we would have won that game. I feel sure.
Let's have a look at your 3-word reviews then on Preston North End 1, Luton Town 0. Phil said not good enough. Steve, Tom Lockyer's dad, complete strangers up front. J-Mo, James Shea, brilliant. Mark, don't panic yet. Chris, Edwards tactically worrying. Ollie, signs of improvement. Ian, inept at scoring. Rubel, we're missing Barkley. Kieran, 4 at the back. And Alfie, always start slow. Steve, you got the rub of the green. You can pick 1 or 2, okay. Or even 3 if you want to. I don't mind.
More than generous of you. I think 4 at the back. We seem better with 4 at the back. When Walters come on, again, another good display from him. But I thought we looked better with 4 at the back. Of course, we're missing Barkley. How can you not miss someone of that talent that was there to pick up the ball every time from the defenders, and that he was there to sort of weave it sort of with another midfielder, get the ball back, and then could make that pass, and a lot of the time did. So, of course, we're going to miss someone like him because he knitted it all together. Complete strangers up front. It does seem that way at the moment, and that's what... That's what,
very frustrating.
Yeah,
isn't it? Very frustrating.
I mean, my 3-word review, which wasn't chosen, which I think is scandalous, Jacob, but it was about my frustration. It was just so much. I just couldn't. I was confident, even at 1-0 down, that we were going to
score a goal, at least get one.
Yeah, but it just didn't materialise, and it just seemed that the final third, it didn't work at all. I mean, a lot of crosses coming in, getting cleared out. The crosses might have been in a good place, but to me, they've got to come over with pace.
There was a couple of times when we looked at each other and he whips that in.
Yeah.
There was nothing to, like the bullet header that you could get on the end of that, because it was always floated across.
Yeah.
It was frustrating. And Alfie says always start slow. I think we sort of mentioned that a second ago. It's not the end of the world. We're going to talk more about that thing. But let's have a look at the game in a tiny bit more detail. Shea in for obviously Kaminsky. There's a point. Mm-hmm. I think Shea played really well. I think he'd done a few good. I don't think he had a chance for the goal, but
no. I mean, because there was 2 or 3 defenders who were moderately stationary in front of him when the guy shot. But yeah, he wouldn't have seen that, and it did sort of go away into the corner. What I liked about Shea particularly on Saturday, there was a couple of times where they broke through, and then the guy done a heavy touch, and he was all over it. Bang, he was on it, and he went down.
Oh, I thought him more than once. That was more than once. And isn't it nice to have a second goalkeeper that you think, if he's in the sticks, he's quite sound?
Yeah. So, bearing in mind how the last 2 or 3 games have sort of unfolded, does Kaminsky get game time in the Carabao now? That's
a good question, because you know what? I was going to ask you that myself.
I should host this thing.
Well, go for it. I suspect that we got QPR twice in 4 days.
I mean, that's just not fair, is it?
I can't say. I think Shea starts at QPR. I think away.
Okay.
I think Kaminsky comes back in for the league game.
Okay. I think he might give Kaminsky a game.
Do you?
In the Carabao. And then if he plays well, then is Shea harshly kept out of the side for the Friday?
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
Could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's a harsh one, isn't it? It's harsh for Shea. He's come in and he's performed brilliantly.
Yeah.
He performed brilliantly during the Portsmouth game. He performed solidly against Preston.
Yeah.
It's harsh if he loses his place.
Yeah.
Who's at Luton's number 1? Obviously, Shea is number 1 because that's his number.
Yeah.
But it's Kaminsky.
Kaminsky is the first choice, isn't he? Yeah.
McGuinness made his debut in for Waters. I was disappointed Waters didn't start, to be fair. But there we go. I think we started well enough, and there was a shot from was it a header from Adebayo that was fairly close. And, and you're thinking, come on, then this is it. We're going to take the game to you.
I swore it was just going to be a matter of time.
Yeah, and we're looking at that game, and the chances aren't coming thick and fast, but we're still on top. And then we had that glorious chance from Shandon Baptiste. Now, firstly, I think he sold their defenders really, really well.
Yeah, we were right behind him, weren't we?
Yeah.
Right behind him, yeah.
Yeah, he sold that defender. He once that defender went on his backside, all he had to do was push it between the posts. And I don't know what to say about it. I think 100% he should have scored.
Undoubtedly. He may have been, I don't know, stretching for it a tiny bit or leaning back because he pushed it, but it was a good foot wide, wasn't it? And it
was a side foot, Steve.
Yeah,
he levers that in anywhere else. If he side foots that in,
it's got to be on target.
It's got. If he gets on target, it's a goal.
Yeah.
That goalkeeper's not saving it.
No.
And I think he did all the hard work before that. He beat the defender. He put one on his arse.
Yeah.
He opened up that gap.
Yeah.
And then he didn't
just pushed it too far. But again, we said it on Saturday. When you're on top, you have to take the chances. And again, we didn't do it. And I think that's the frustration.
Freddie Woodman. Don't know much about him, but he tipped a header from Morris over the bar in about 36 minutes. You know, again, another one of those sort of looping headers almost, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. He couldn't really do anything, you know, with the way it came over to him. Keeper would have been gutted if he'd have not saved it.
And so, you know, you're on top, and you know your team is the better team. And any Preston fan watching and listening, they would have said the same. You know, we were on it. They didn't create much, but nor did we. And then the kick in the nuts is the goal.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lovely flick up the line by one of their guys.
Yeah, that was a good sort of like.
Yeah, because that did open it up for them.
But then Ogbeni sort of wanders back, really slow.
Yeah.
And they're getting in, and you can see the gap. We could see where the gap was.
Yeah.
The two centre backs.
Two centre backs and Clark were all right next to each other, wouldn't they?
Let's give this thing. McGuinness did well to try and shut him down.
Yep.
Try and stop the cross. Didn't happen.
They'd have been delighted that they had pulled him out to the wing. But
the other three were far too far away from the man in the middle. He was on his own. He was on his own at the penalty spot, Steve. Yeah. No one. He had more space than space.
There you go. That's deep, Dave. But no, he had time to control it, position the ball to his right, and then, you know, he sort of just put it into the corner. It was so soft from our point of view, as I say, and, you know, you can see Clark's reaction. He was furious about it, but to me, there was Clark and the two centre backs, and they just weren't anywhere near him.
And the panic was the way they tried to shut him down. But one of them, I just don't understand, why was he on his own?
Yeah.
Why was he on his own? Was there anybody else that should have been there? Because your defenders are going to go back to protect the goal. Yeah. Should there have been someone else? Was it Ogbeni's job to get into that position to cover that? Because he was just jogging back.
Well, he was just jogging back, but it was also jogging back sort of level with the 18-yard line, you know, the side of it. He wasn't central at all, so it could well have been that. I don't know, but maybe Clark should have been a bit further up, because if memory serves it was sort of him in a line with the two centre-backs.
The other thing I noticed about Deepdale, because I'd never been to Deepdale before, it's my first visit, and I couldn't believe how quiet it was. It was quiet. They didn't have a bloody drum. There would be no atmosphere for them.
You've got to love a drum, haven't you?
But even our fans, it was like silence at times.
Yeah. Again, I think the Luton fans were waiting for the goal to go in, and then I think they just got apprehensive, and then they probably thought, we're going to do it again. We're going to screw up another one.
Well,
I mean, a lot of the second half that the Luton fans were, you could just see, you're looking around, you could just see how annoyed and irate people were getting, because, you know, time after time, the final ball, whether it be, you know, Chong, Baptiste, you know, whoever it was, you know, Doughty, whoever it was, the final ball in just didn't get to our player.
Clark had a good chance, didn't score. Adebayo had a couple of chances, didn't score. Did we hit the crossbar? I can't remember.
I mean, Clark's one, watching it at the game, it looked like an absolutely first-class save. I thought, that's it. It's gone in, because, you know, left-footed. You know,
I thought he was going to score.
Yeah, I mean, like the goal at Wembley, he caught it, an absolute dream, and I thought that was going in. Keeper got a good, strong hand on it. You know, watching it on telly, it wasn't so much of an open angle that it looked like when we were watching it at the game and that. But, you know, but again, he broke through, he dropped shoulder, created some space, and he got the shot away. You know,
I've watched this back on TV, and at the game, for me, it was 100% penalty. I was so annoyed when Adebayo went through.
You were.
Why would he drop down if he knows he's getting into that box there? You know, I was livid.
Yeah, no, he was fouled though. He didn't. Yeah, but he didn't drop down.
No, what I'm saying to you is, he was fouled, and for me, the foul continued, and I was angry. And then I watched it back and thought, "Oh, you fool!" It was just outside the line, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just outside.
Very tight though.
Yeah, it was tight, but the ref got it right.
You've seen them given though.
Nah.
Yes, you have, man. I tell you now, you have seen them given. And
give me 15 examples.
I'll do it when we finish. Okay. Yeah, you can't put me on the spot like that. Don't start me. I was disappointed because I think he was going through. It's one of those stronger points that he did on the day itself. So and when the referee blew, I'm thinking this is a penalty. He's given a penalty, and in fact, it took him an age to give a decision anyway.
Yeah, it did. He did, but then he quickly sort of pointed to the free kick, and it was the right decision and that. But and again, we're not going to go on about the referees and that. But I did feel that there was a lot of arms around Morris and Adebayo, but they're players that do that as well. And maybe if the ref's seen it that way, that's why he's not giving any of them.
Well, it felt like we got called on that more than they did. But let's say we weren't good enough. We didn't do enough to win the game, so you can't blame that.
No.
Alfie's deliveries weren't smart. From that free kick, it wasn't a smart free kick. But we had 13 corners, Steve.
Yeah, I know, and I don't. Well, there wasn't one where we got. A meaningful header to put the keeper under pressure. Not one. And it's not the fact that we're a short team. We've got two giants up front that were performing well in the Premier League last year.
It does worry me that we haven't got that gel at the front at the moment.
Sorry, Dave. They are doubling up on them a lot. Morris seldom had one defender on him. He always seemed to have two, and that makes it even more difficult to hold the ball up.
Steve, when they double up on people though, mate, let's be fair, they double up on someone, that means someone else is not being covered, that someone else should make the position good.
Well, maybe, but a lot of the time Morris had his back to goal, he was trying to hold the ball up and lay it off. You can only lay it off to sort of two or three people that are in your range. So the free person, let's say that's Elijah, we're not going to feel the benefit of that during that phase of play.
Yeah, I agree with you. While we're talking about penalties, we had a sort of heart and mouth moment, didn't we? When the Preston player went down in the box. And the referee blew his whistle, and I just thought, there we go.
Yeah, that was a big, dirty Greg Laganis dive, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he would have got a 9.8 for that as well. But when the referee initially blew his whistle, I'm thinking, well, we're done now. It's all done.
Yeah, that's right. You're waiting for him to sort of go penalty. But no, he was absolutely right. And,
for me, that should be a red card. Sodom. You're going to cheat that badly, get off the pitch. There, I've said it.
There you go.
Did we leave it too late to make our substitution? It's good to see Liam Walsh come on for his debut.
Yeah,
he did all right, didn't he?
Yeah, he really wanted to make an impact. He was keen to receive the ball. He was showing some good vision and stuff. So, again, he looks a very polished, tidy player. I want to see that little bit of magic from someone. We need some magic at the moment, but he looks good. I think Ogbene is wasted being back too far. I don't think we're making the most of him by a long shot. I really don't.
But maybe there was other things on his mind, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah, that may be the case. But if that's the case, then he shouldn't have been on the pitch at all.
Yeah, it's just, look, I know we're all the same. We're all gutted. We all expected a better start. We literally expected more. Because of our squad time, is it Steve? Is it too early to start judging that? I mean, look, we come away from Preston with nothing, and that's disappointing.
Yeah,
we've shown some good signs. What can we do more? What do we need to do to start winning?
We've got to find that little bit of magic in and around the box. We've got to find that bit of quality in and around the box. As I say, a lot of what the supply players were doing was cut out so often. I think a lot of Alfies so far this season have been that way. I really, really like Chong. He's always there to receive the ball, and he'll go at them. But again, when he's dragging the ball back, it just seems that so often it's going to a defender and it's being cut out. So we've got to try and find a way of increasing the quality of that ball in.
All right.
Once we've got that, then you've got genuine chances being created, not half chances, then the goals will come. And it is way too early to get concerned about what's going on.
Brilliant. Just a few facts from Opta. Luton have only won Only one win in their last 16 visits to Deepdale. If I'd known that, I might not have gone. And that was March 21 under Nathan Jones. We're winless in our last 4 championship games, excluding the playoffs. And Will Keane's goal was Preston's first since early April. And that's that is the gutting thing about everything. We know, well done to Preston, you got your 3 points, and I'm gutted it wasn't us.
Yeah, I mean, do you agree, though, that by and large they dug in for the majority of the game?
Yeah, I don't think they... I just wasn't... it sounds very arrogant to say it, doesn't it? I don't mean to be arrogant, but they wasn't that good. And you can see why they've struggled. And then you think, why are we this bad compared to them? We're not that bad. We had a majority of the game. We should have done better. Yeah. And that's what disappoints me. Yeah. Is it, like we said earlier, is it too early to judge people? Is it too early to judge us on 3 games, Steve? How long before we can say, oh God, we're in the crapper, we need to do something here?
10 or 11.
10 or 11.
Yeah. We've got the transfer window is open, so there might be 2 or 3 players that aren't 100% focused. We've got players that are just coming in, so they're settling into the system. You've got players that haven't had a full pre-season, and they're not excuses, they're just facts about why, in my opinion, it's too early to judge, because the squad isn't all settled, it's not all gelled. So, yeah, I've got no doubt that we're going to have a fine season.
We asked you guys, can we really judge the team after 3 games? Will injured players returning help? Don't forget, we've got that massive injury list that are suddenly be back on top of us.
Yeah, it'd be good to see Marvellous back.
Yeah, and if you could pick one person to bring to the club, who would you bring? Kevin said, I genuinely believe we will come good, but the difference is fan expectations 2 years on. We're sat with arguably our best and most valuable and talented set of players ever, and they haven't delivered in the first few matches. I don't think meltdown is justified at all at this point, but I think I understand why it's happening. That's a fair point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Neil says the current shape system isn't working. Add the game against Celta Vigo to that list. We don't look right. Play a diamond midfield or go back to last season's tactics of high tempo, high pressing football. The injured players will help, yes, and Whittaker from Plymouth would suit us. I don't know too much about Whittaker. Do you know what? I should stop drinking.
I'm going to say, who's Whittaker?
He plays for England cricket.
He was certainly good last season. I don't know a lot about him before that or what he's done so far this season, but he seemed pretty good week in, week out.
Chris says, can't judge after 3 games. It's early days and it can't be easy getting out of the habit of losing and getting back to winning. Getting players back will help us for sure. Competition for places, more depth is key in this league. I generally feel the team is good enough to finish in the top 6, but an option at left wing back or generally a creative Premier League loan would strengthen us. The club will have a plan and I totally trust Edwards and Mick. Steve says, I'm pleased with the additions made, especially getting McGuinness in at the back.
Yeah,
that was in serious need of addressing. I think the guys are suffering a little after relegation, which is not unusual for some sides previously. Once Rob Edwards gets his trust in all the squad players and starts making changes sooner, we'll have a better chance to get something out of the games when we're behind or looking for a winner. I do think Rob Edwards is too loyal to a few that he favours too much. And finally, Hatter Gray says, you can judge the system we are playing, which doesn't play to our strengths. We are so passive on and off the ball. Players playing out of position, especially Morrison or Benny. We need to go to back to a back 4 and make tough decisions on selections. We need a transfer window out of the way.
Yeah.
And talking of the transfer windows, I think it sort of, it does, as you look at the squad and you just think, who's staying, who's going, who's coming in.
Yeah.
And, he makes a valid point there. If your agent is out there
hawking you about.
Yeah, hawking you about, and that's happening.
Yeah.
You should give 100%, but you give that little knock, you give that little injury, you're not
right.
going.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. I really wish the transfer window closed before the start of the season.
What? It doesn't make any sense. No. Why do they let it run for a month into the season?
Is it to do with the European leagues?
Sodom.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, that's certainly how I would have it. Again, it looks like we're going to have a big transfer window because there's a lot of rumours going on.
As we're recording this, the rumours of Ogbenny is in talks with Ipswich for £8 million. Is that enough? Rotherham will be rubbing their hands together because they'll get a percentage of that.
I presume they will have a sell on, because he was a freebie, wasn't he?
He was free, yeah. But 8 million, is that enough?
I feel that he is a fantastic player, and we had games last season where he frightened the hell out of Newcastle, Liverpool, and stuff like that. But again, if he's sort of playing as a wing back or too far back, you're not getting the most out of him. And I don't think that we get enough out of him week in, week out. We've talked several times about him trusting his pace, having real genuine belief in that. To me, I want to see him going past the guy right from the outset, or trying to, giving the defence something to think about. And I don't think that he's got that like balls out attacking mentality. He's quite an introvert sort of at times, the way he plays. So I think that £8 million might be a deal.
The other rumour that's been flying around X, or whatever you want to call it these days, well, it's X, isn't it? And it comes from a reliable source normally. Peter O'Rourke is normally quite reliable. He's also said that Ipswich are talking to Chong as well, and that one would do me as well. I don't think Chong should leave.
That would be really disappointing to say, because he does have not the confidence, he has the will to put himself there every time. We're saying about Ogbene, I feel that sometimes he doesn't sort of go all out. Chong does go all out, but you see how many times he gets taken off. Again, I don't know if it's a trust issue or something like that, but
I think it's probably because he runs
himself into the ground.
Yeah, really sorry for the coughing tonight, boys. I can't stop it. He runs himself. He runs so much on the stadium in the games.
Yeah,
maybe he was knackered.
Yeah,
he looked a bit pissed off. He
was furious when he came off at Preston, and he didn't even sort of really have any rapport with fans, which isn't a problem. He was watching the game. That's absolutely fine. But he does seem to be taken off a lot. So I do wonder, like Campbell, but to a lesson, is he a player that Edwards doesn't fully trust?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I'd sort of think he just puts in an effort, and it gets to a point where he can't do any more.
Doesn't look tired to me though when he's coming off though, mate. It could be that Edwards just wants to change something.
Back to the comments we just read out.
Yeah,
maybe there's other favourites that Rob wouldn't take off in front of him.
Yeah,
maybe that's it.
It could be.
Maybe that's. Let's talk about the transfers in. We've been brilliant. I think this season, we was worried about it, and then suddenly we got 5 in.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Kraus coming on.
Yes, yeah. Is he a couple of weeks away?
I don't know, Steve. He was injured in training for Mainz.
Right. Okay.
Mainz. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know.
We're going to say Mainz.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, it's wrong. Liam Walsh looked good when he came on. Mark McGuinness, brilliant.
Yeah.
Shannon Baptiste, he's sort of there, but
I
just wanted to show a little bit more.
Yeah.
For me, the freebie from Arsenal, Waters, I think he's sensational.
He's looking great, and as I say, when he's playing in a 4, he's looking really, really good. He's almost got that attacking power that we've had in previous years with James Justin at times and things like that. He seems really keen to get forwards, but he's also good at coming back and defending.
Would you be worried if we lose Ogbene? Would you be worried if you lose either Ogbene or Chong or both?
If we lost both, then that is a hell of a lot of attacking out of the squad. I'll be really disappointed with that. If I had to choose for one to go, I would probably choose Ogbene, because I just feel that Chong tries more often every single game.
Coming in, rumours. Again, rumours. I can only say rumours because they go through social media. You know what we're all like on social media. We all have an opinion. And then someone will say something and then you think it won't be true. And then suddenly it is true. Yeah. So, there are rumours. Nathan Ngoy from Standard Liège.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been going on a few days
allegedly
now.
Has had a medical at Luton.
Okay.
What do you think? I mean,
if
he's had a medical, just to be fair, we would have announced it by now, wouldn't we?
No, not necessarily. No, we do what we want when we want, don't we? That's the way it is with transfers and that. But no, if he's had a medical, I would expect that means that all the sums have been sorted out and everything.
Are we waiting then just for someone else to go to bring him in?
That may be the case, or it might be something at his other club where they need to do a bit of business first. So it could be either way, where they've said, can we just hold off on announcing it? But if he has had a medical, then obviously all the contracts and that, you'd imagine, are all sorted. So then good stuff, yeah.
Is this whole transfer window rubbish is so frustrating, isn't it? It's so frustrating. Other rumours, I don't know how true they are, but it's been mentioned that we're in the race for Tom Cannon from Leicester. Mm-hmm. But
do you know much about him, Dave? I don't. I've got to be honest with you.
I don't know much about him, but do we need that, or do we just need to give Joe Taylor a bit more of a go?
Well, I don't know. So I don't know what type of player is, but I think the more options, the better. We spoke about a moment at the Preston game. Joe Taylor was over on the wing, and he let the ball go past him, done a step over, done the guy, and turned and ran, and the defender got back to him relatively quickly, and I think put the ball out. And I think it was when we was walking back to the car, I said, I hope that Taylor sees that he's right on the verge of, not just the squad, but being in the first 13, shall we say. And I hope that he gives it his absolute all, because I think skill-wise, and I think his footballing brain, he's got everything that we would want to really achieve and do great things at championship level. But I want to see him being as absolutely fit as possible. I want to see him working as hard as possible every single day, because if he makes the most of what he's got, then I would hope that he will say to Edwards, well, you can't get rid of me because I am so important to you.
And it only takes a goal to get you going.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and again, he seems to find himself in these positions, doesn't he? He does, pop up in these good positions. So I really hope that he believes and sees the opportunity that he's got and really, really knuckles down, because, it's all there for him. I think it's up to him.
Just a note, Alan Campbell's gone off to join Nathan at Charlton, so that's Luton B team up there.
Exactly.
I wish him well. I always liked Alan Campbell. I'm surprised he hasn't had a go in this team.
No. Edwards hasn't sort of been one of his fans from day one. That was clear. He was.
But I don't understand that.
He was one of the very, very first people sacrificed. He scored some great goals for us in that spell in the Championship, and tireless work. He's like an absolute Tasmanian devil. So the amount of work he puts in is absolutely sensational. Edwards has never fancied him. I'm surprised that he hasn't gone back to Scotland, to be honest with you. I thought
but maybe he likes Nathan. He knows Nathan, and he wants to make it down here because you know what, Scottish football, with the exception of Rangers and Celtic. Yeah, it's not that level. It's not that good, is it?
If Charlton are getting the player that we had in that Championship season,
then they've got a good deal.
They've got a fantastic player there at that level.
Yeah, still don't want to get promoted, but there we go.
No, exactly. Yeah.
1,700 of us going up to QPR on Tuesday night, which is brilliant.
That's for a Carabao Cup game. That's bloody good.
It's a tenner, Steve. It was easy.
Yeah, it's still not the easiest places to get to, though, is it?
Depends how you're travelling.
How are you travelling, Dave?
I can't disclose that right now, but I'll tell you. I'll tell you at the end.
What a bizarre response.
Well, it's not the right time to tell you.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going anyway, boys and girls. So if you're up there and you see me come and buy me a drink, that'd be great. I can get drunk on the way home. Actually, the bar in their stupid stadium is so tiny you probably wouldn't be able to get to the bar.
Yeah.
QPR Friday. Yeah. Not Carabao Cup is the Carabao Cup. If we win it, fantastic. If we don't care.
Yeah.
But I expect some of the fringe players to be playing Tuesday night.
Yep.
Friday, it's a must win, isn't it?
It isn't, but it is because, you know, it's a good relationship that we've got with QPR. You know, it has been for a long, long time. But yeah, you just want to get the ball rolling as quickly as possible, don't you? You know, with each game that goes, you don't want it to be set in your mind and stuff like that. So it's just important for the confidence and belief that we put in, you know, that performance with a cutting edge, really.
Let's do the prediction leads. Only us two here.
Yeah,
I do have the others, but I can't remember what they are. So we'll put them on socials.
Can we not just make up scores for them?
No.
Okay, fair enough then.
Darren said 8-0.
8-0. And Bataro said 9 Thor. Not Thor. Honestly, Jesus. Okay, I am going to predict that we are going to win 2-0.
Fantastic, because I've just written down what I think, and I've been 2-0 all season, but I'm going for a 3-0 comfortable win.
Okay.
And then that will come back to bite me on the arse. I know that. But let's hope we get back to it. Listen, it's been a pleasure, just you and I. But
good.
Hopefully everyone's back next week. Oh no, you're not. You're away.
I'm away, but maybe I can join on Zoom or something if there's Wi-Fi down in ye old Hunstanton. So maybe I can do Zoom and that. But yeah, I mean, I even washed today. And it's just the two of us.
Steve.
What a waste of water.
On that note, I need to end this now. It's becoming the Steve joke show.
I'm here all night.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And if you're on YouTube, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really does help. If you see us at a game, come over and say hello. You saw a couple of people on the weekend.
Did. It was, well, we chatted with lots of people, but yeah, Paul and Aaron. So it was good. Yeah, it was good. A lot of people. Yeah, really good.
Also, can I just say at this point, Mark, apologies for this. It's nice to see Mark Crowther, wasn't it?
Yes, but does he remember seeing us?
I don't think so.
No, exactly. Happy birthday to him, eh?
Yeah, well done. Listen, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all again soon. Watch out for our Queen's Park Rangers preview pod, which will be probably released on Thursday, and we'll see you again next week.
Take care.